hope you can hear me all right. I am out for a Sunday drive. Going to help my friend with some decorating. So I've been praying over what to follow up the previous video with. And on my drive, I was praying to the Lord and I heard learning curve. All of us have a learning curve. You know, we're individuals, and the rate at which we learn is going to be as different as we are. Some of us, it's easier for us to learn than it is for others. Sometimes it takes a lot of repetition to understand, establish, comprehend. To continue the previous subject, I got a lot of comments, and I appreciate your comments, I really do. The majority of them have been extremely nice, very polite, loving, accepting. Thank you for that. So back to the learning curve. You know, when we are told repeatedly that, sorry, I'm on a bumpy road. When we're told repeatedly that, you know, something, whatever, it kind of gets stuck in our brains. And anyone who has suffered domestic violence will understand that statement. Or even anyone who has been in the armed services, Boy Scouts. You know, you do something often enough, or you hear something often enough, and it just sticks like a piece of bubble gum on the underside of a table. So when you tell yourself something repeatedly, you establish that bubblegum under the table mentality, and sometimes it's hard to get out of that, like guilt. You know, sorry, my holder came loose. You tell yourself, and you establish this mentality, and it's really hard to break a habit. And you know, whether you're telling yourself or it's someone else just drilling it into your brain, you know, you're worthless, you have no value, you're a very bad person, and consistently being looked down on, it establishes a pattern in your mind, and then you subconsciously subdue it, and it gets stuck in there. And breaking a habit is very hard. I'm in a process. I have my own learning curve, and rooting out something that is so deeply ingrained over many years, and we won't go into my age or anything like that. I think I told y'all last time anyway, but I'm off the subject. You have to work at it, just like establishing that habit. You have to work on getting that habit broke. And the Lord tells us, take captive your thoughts. Take captive your thoughts, all of them. You have to. With myself, I have to post notes. I mentioned the brain surgery before, but it was centered in my memory center, and I had to relearn how to do a lot of stuff. From the most mundane things, like buttoning my shirt. I had a lot of trouble with fine motor control. And it also affected my memory. Sometimes I can tell you what happened 30 years ago, the jingle of my favorite cereal commercial, but I can't tell you what I had for breakfast, if anything. But we have to recognize that breaking a habit is going to be as repetitious as establishing that habit was, or establishing that belief. It's not easy. It is something that you really have to work at. And you get told a lot, especially new believers, you get told a lot. You have to forgive yourself. You have to do this daily. You have to read your Bible daily. You have to conquer the flesh in order to do this. And not everyone is very good at breaking old habits and establishing new ones. And I was just curious, am I the only one having problems like this, or do other people go through the same process? Now, one of my testimonies about the Lord is when I was 7 years old. We went on a fishing trip for vacation one summer, and my father had a very nice Skeeter bass boat. I don't know if y'all are any of you are bass fishermen, but he had a Skeeter bass boat. It was a blue and silver speck paint. Tell you what. Washing and waxing one of those boats is a workout. But anyway, we were on the lake night fishing. We went to Lake Lochloosa in Florida. And we were out after dark night fishing. And on the way back in, my father lost his way in the dark. Everything changes at night, and lights come on, and shore does not look the same. So he lost his way, and I was terrified because we were going really, really fast, and it was already obvious my father did not know where he was going on that particular night. So I started praying because we had gone to church. So I started praying. I'm a little 7-year-old girl, pigtails, flying around in a bass boat in the middle of the night on Lake Lochloosa in nowhere, Florida, And I promised the Lord, if you could just get us back to the fish camp safe, I promise I'll work for you. Little 7-year-old simple prayer. I've been reminded of that prayer many times now. But that was the first night that I promised something to the Lord for my safety. I knew I could lean on Him. In my little child's heart, I knew I could lean on Him. And sure enough, wasn't very long after that, he cut the motor down and we coasted right on into the fish camp, all lit up and cheery. I had to go to the bathroom. I was about to wet myself. Anyway, so the Lord kept his side of the promise. The Lord is faithful. He always is. So now I've been reminded. He's been calling me for quite a few years. That's just the very first time I remember personally reaching out to the Lord, because I had a childlike understanding that I could trust Him, I could depend on Him, that He would see to my safety, just a short story to remind everybody that everyone has a different learning curve. I don't know, just a reminder. So, I am on my way to help do some artistic decorations and stuff. Have fun with a friend of mine. So I will talk to y'all later, so pay attention to my driving. Y'all have a blessed one.